All right, so let's get started writing our CSS, and I've just added some few styling. So this is my font, like I told you earlier in the video. You have to copy that link and paste it on your CSS file. So this is my theme, like I asked you to do at the beginning, and then I have um this general styling. So this asterisk symbol is going to add this styling to the whole page, and I'm saying remove the default margin and padding and set box size into border box. So if you don't understand it, I advise you refer to my video on CSS box model to know what why I'm actually doing this. This is something you come across in almost every CSS tutorial when building a project. You have to do this. Then I'm going to set another um, general styling and say text decoration none, because by default I want text decoration to be none for my links. So you see that underline, it's no longer there. Now let's start writing our style. So the first thing we want to do is to apply the fonts. So for my body, for the body, I'm going to say font family, and it's going to be Roboto. And you know you have to be connected to network for this to work, because you're actually importing this font over network connection, over internet connection. So you need internet connection for this to work. And I'm just going to put some web saved font in case Roboto is not available for any reason. Let's say when we deploy this to the server, the client is having uh, the people that are going to access this website, they're having some issues with internet connection, and for some reason the browser did not fetch this font. So let's add some web safe fonts. And like I said, web safe fonts are fonts that are recognized by any browser, so it does not need internet. So these are some web-based fonts, and I'm using sans serif font just like Roboto. Then for my H1 and my H2, this H1 and H2, I'm going to say font family, and it's going to be Roboto serif. So if there's a space in the name of your font, you want to surround it with quotes, then let's add some web saved fonts, and I'm going to do Georgia Times New Roman, um, Times, and so these are serif fonts. So it's going to look for these first three fonts, and if not available, it's going to use any serif font that is available. So let's go to the browser and see. If you noticed, the headings changed. So the H1 and H2, that are the major headings, are now using Roboto serif, and the other headings like the sub headings and the text are using Roboto. So all right, let's move on. So I'm going to give my H2 margin bottom of 32 pixels, and the reason is because I want it to push this text down. So let's say H2. So I'm going to write all the element styling I need, then move on to the class styling. So let's say margin bottom, I'm going to say 32 pixel, and for my header, so this is part of the stylings I want. For my header, I'm going to say height. I want height of 80 pixels for my header. And then for the header, I also want to make these links here to be in the same line with the logo. So we're going to say header. Remember, we have a container there. So class of container, and say display want flex. And if you go over here, you see they're now in the same line. So I'm just going to type the stylings out, and we see justify content. I want it to be space between space between, that's going to push one to the edge, and just like that, push this to the edge and the other to the other edge. And align items, I want it to be center, so I want everything to stay in center vertically. That's the reason for this styling. And then padding is going to be 1 rem, so I want 1 rem at the top and bottom, then 0 left and right. Yeah, this is the shorthand notation. So you see, so if I remove that, let's comment this out for a second so you just see why it's important. So because I don't have any image here, but if there's an image here, you actually see what this styling looks like. So I'm going to show you later, but let's just move on. So uncomment this. Now I also want the nav to be flex. There are links, and links are inline elements, but I'm just going to do display flex. So display flex, and I'm going to apply gap of 1 rem. So you see the space. And then for my sections, I want to add a padding of 2 rem top and bottom, except for this for my hero section and this skill subsection. So to do that, I'm going to say section, and I'm going to say not. So we're going to use this pseudo class selector not, and I don't want it for the section with the class of hero and the section with the class of skill section. But for every other section on the page, I want this styling. So padding, I'm going to say 2 rem top and bottom, then 0 left and right. So you can see the space at the top and at the bottom. All right, so let's move on. And now we're going to start with our class styling. So I'm going to put a comment here, and this will be for class styling. Class styles, let's just say class styles. And the first thing we want to do is to take the div with the class of container, and let's say max width. We want the max width to be 1170 pixels, and we want margin auto to position it in the middle, margin auto. And then I want padding, 16 pixel, just to push the content away when we're not on large screens that are not uh, that is not bigger than 1170 pixels. So yeah, so this is what it's looking like right now. And because that class of container wraps around all our content, you can see it's pushing everything out. So let's start our let's start with this part. Let's do this part, and we're going to say dot hero. So let's say dot hero, and we want container. And the first thing we want to do is to say display flex. When I do display flex, hero dot container display flex, so I have this div with the class of container, yeah. So I want this div with the class of container because I actually want this to be in the middle. So I'm going to say display flex, and flex direction should be column, and then I'm going to say justify content center. This is actually going to put it on the center, but because is um, the height is small, it's taking just the required height. So for just the hero, I'm going to say dot hero and say height, and I'm going to use the calc function because I want height of 100 VH, but I'm going to minus the height of the header away from it. And over here, I'm just going to say height inherit to inherit. So I want the container to inherit the height of its parent element, which is this hero. So this is what we have. It's centered vertically. That's what I wanted to do. And now I'm going to say dot hero content. So let's style the hero content. I'm going to say max width. I want max width of 600 pixels because I don't like the way the content is just overflowing to almost the edge of the container. And then I'm going to say margin auto to place it in the middle. So if I do that, you see it there. So just to save time, I'm not going to be going back and forth. And let's say text align center. So yeah. Now let's add some margin bottom to the H1. So I'm going to say hero content. And remember, we have hero heading and title surrounding that content. Hero title actually, heading title. Then we have the H1. I'm going to say margin bottom and I'm going to use rem. I want to be consistent. So one rem is equals to 16 pixels. I want to be consistent with my styling. So let's say one rem. Here we have two rem, one rem. I'm going to just stick to using rem. Say one rem, and I want the font size. Or for the font size, I'm actually going to use pixel. Font size, let's do 56 pixel. It says full stack developer. This is very bold because we want to drag the attention of any user that will access this site to our job role. I'm a full stack developer. Okay, right. I'm going to do same for the padding. So for this, let's just say padding for this text here actually. Or since yeah, so we have, let's just look at the structure so we know what to do. We have H1 and we have this heading title surrounding it. So I can just take this heading title actually, heading, and so yeah, that looks great. But let's do 1.5 OM rather. Or let's do 2. Now the reason why it's not working is because I'm just going to say I want all my, the reason why you're not seeing that padding of margin bottom of 2 again, I want all my anchor tags to be display inline block. All anchor tags to be display inline block. So let's just say for them. I really want it to be obvious because yes, so it's working. So let's keep it at 2 them. So that's all for this section, but we actually have to style this button. And I'm going to say dot hero content, and we want the we want the anchor tag. I'm just going to say background color. I'm going to use my accent color 3. So you need to use var. Yeah, so this is the right syntax. You need to say var to reference to the variable you have here. And color, I'm going to use say var, and I want text light, and then I want some padding around. Let's just do 1 rem. So this is what we have. View projects, and I am, let's just add, let's just leave it. I want to keep it simple as possible. And for the hero, I want a background color of let's just say background color var, and let's use this accent color, and let's see. So then I really want this to stand out. So one way I try to apply my styling is to use the primary color for primary headings and call to actions buttons. So I'm actually going to change this background over here to primary, and let's see. Also want to consider the contrast. So looking at the contrast, I don't think the background should be more darker. So let's try to use let's see, accent 2 looks darker than, or let's just go ahead and use accent 3 rather as the background. Let's use 3 because the contrast level will be very different then. Yeah, so I think this works. And for the text, I'm just going to say color, and let's say var, and let's use light. So this looks great. This looks great, and I'm going to come back and add colors to this link. Let's move to this section. So for this section, I'm going to try to look at to have about. Yeah, so this is about, and we're actually going to use a grid layout for this. So I'm also trying to use this to cover all the fundamental concepts of CSS like flexbox, grid, and all that. So let's take the about content. So we have to say dot about content. I'm actually following my structure. So we have this about content, and the image, the text, and the skill section is actually under that section. Let's say about section, about content, sorry, and we're going to say display grid, and now let's say grid template columns. So I want 3 columns. I'm going to say one F arrow, one F arrow, one F arrow, and then for the grid template rows, I actually want two equal rows. So I'm going to say 2 F arrow, 2 F arrow, and let's set gap to 1 rem. So this is how our layout is looking at right now. So what I actually want to do is to create a 2-dimensional layout using grid. So I'm going to start with the about image. So about image, I know we don't have any image there right now, but after this styling of the section, we are going to bring in our images. So I'm going to say image and say grid columns. Actually, we want grid column, and I want it to span 1. So what that means is that it's going to just remain where it is, span 1. But for the rows, I want it to span 2. I'm going to say grid row span 2. So you see it's spanning two. So I want this the text and the skill to share one row, and this you just take just one full row. Now let's move on to the about text. Let's say about text, and I want grid column. So I'm just going to do grid column. I want it to span from 2 to 4. 2 to 4 is spanning from 2 to 4. Yeah, and same thing for the skill section. So let's say dot skill skill section. I want the grid column also to span 2 to 4. So 2 4. So I've successfully created this layout. When I bring in my image, you're actually going to see the beauty of this layout. So I think this is a nice place to take a break and talk about something called image optimization before bringing in my images.